Aloha and welcome everyone to Living in Hawaii. And we have a special show for you today. We're going to be welcoming you to learn about Facebook groups to welcome you, ideas and areas for inspiration, and also areas to avoid online. We're here to support you, to give you the inside track, high level, behind the scenes stories of how to make your transition from wherever you are to the beautiful islands of Hawaii. We welcome you. We thank you. So we ask you to sit back, relax, enjoy the conversation. And here we go. I'd like to first say thank you so much to our co-hosts here, Miss Chelsea Fernandez from Maui, and Josie Coleman from Big Island, and Lonnie Mercado from Big Island. We do not have anybody from Oahu and Kauai representing this today. However, if you want more information from those two beautiful islands, I'm sure we could do another show for you and give you all the details that they have to offer as well. So I'm just going to open it up and we're going to start chit chat and talking about what do you feel, Chelsea? I'll start with you because you're directly closest to me. What places are the best areas of opportunity for people to look to find the inside track from moving from the mainland or wherever they are to Maui to get the deets, the real story? Go ahead.
Yeah, well, of course, we're talking about Facebook groups today. So, just getting on Facebook and looking up Maui moms, Maui families. There's Maui Watch, Maui 247, just to kind of get the information and some insight, and you can read what's going on Maui Mommies. There's different things for families, for your kids. You can read about what's the best baseball team, what's the best football teams, what's the best gymnastic gym that you can send your kids to. And even if you do homeschool, that's another resource that you can go Maui homeschool. And there's a whole lot of resources to learn about what homeschool is like here on Maui and what kind of resources homeschoolers have.
So do you have any thoughts or ideas on if it's not a family moving, say it's a working gentleman that's here for a short period of time who absolutely loves hiking or art?
Something Yeah, so there's other groups like Maui Bound, or I think it's called the Maui Traveler. And you can find all kind of information on those two groups of where the places to go are when you come to Maui, what the hiking spots are, what the beaches are. And, the main thing when you're moving to Hawaii is respect and do what the locals do. Those are the two main things. Like, of course, respect our island, respect our land, but do what we do. You go to the beaches, go surf, immerse yourself into our culture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a big thing. And I'm glad that you shared that piece, because respect coming to the islands is something that I obviously did. I was not born and raised in Maui or on Maui. And when you come to the islands, respect is extremely important. So I'm glad you brought that up. Okay, so Josie and Lonnie, lay it on us. Where would you suggest is the number one place, just as a global location, where people would go to find moving to the Big Island, and explain the different areas of the Big Island? Go for it.
You want to go first, Lonnie?
Go ahead, Josie.
Okay. So I'm on the Big Island on the south side down in Ocean View, and Lonnie and I are both down here, and it's really exciting on the Big Island because it's so big. Like, we live on the south side, but like Lonnie knows one side better than me. I might know another side better than her, just because it depends on where you go and where you hang out. I agree with Chelsea. Like, before you come to the island, you should really start searching for your groups before you come. It's not that it's hard to get onto the island and find your crowd, but it is a good idea. Like, if you're a hiker, whatever you want to do. I know for myself, when I'm moving somewhere, I like to volunteer. That's how I meet people. And I'm really into animal rescue. So you could get on Facebook. Facebook is amazing. It really is the place for this. And I know that in present day, Facebook is kind of like seen as the old person social media, but it really does have all the great groups. You can definitely find groups on Instagram as well, but I recommend getting on Facebook to just find the local groups. And one of the main groups in our area on the south side of the island, and I believe they're island wide, is Pet Fix. And it's a free spay and neuter service and also medication. And the nice thing about it is that people that are working there are volunteers. And so I met a lot of people just taking my animals that I acquired when I got here to get spayed and neutered. And then you kind of find the other animal rescue people as well. And there's a lot of need in the area. So that's a great way to meet people. And I think that before coming here, if you're not even sure where you're going to be, just join all the groups, because we have Kona side, we've got Waimea in the north, we have Hilo side, and then we've got Ocean View, Captain Cook in the south. They're all very distinctly different. So I really recommend just seeing before you get here what groups are out there and how you can kind of get an idea of the flavor of each part of the island.
That's really well said. And I want to speak to that before we go any further. When you said about Facebook being the older generation, if you will, for this specific purpose, it's like going to a new build home where there's no trees grown, right? And then you go to a place that has lush, mature trees. That's where everything is built up and beautiful. When you're moving, you want to read back in history. You want to read all of the lineage of what's going on in that neighborhood. So Facebook truly is, for a person moving, a depth of knowledge for all of that area for a long period of time, so they can see how that area grows or changes or ebbs and flows. So that's a really good point.
Yeah. And, along with that, I did want to say too, do all your online searching, but I'm kind of a nerd this way. But before I came, I started reading the history books about Hawaii and the fiction books, because as Chelsea said, when you come here, you really do need to respect the area. And I'm somebody that's lived in a tourist town of some sort my whole life, so I am used to that. But it is very different. When you come to this island, it's not the same. And you really do need to have an awareness of what respect is. And especially when you were saying, respecting the Aina, that is something I have never seen in a community as much as I have on the islands. And I love it. But it's something that I think kind of surprises people, like how once you live here, especially if you're born and raised here, I wasn't, but people that are, it's like they are adamant about that is a part of our everyday and who we are. And so just to get into that mindset before you come can be really helpful.
True. Very well said. And the Aina, just for those who didn't catch it when Chelsea said it earlier, is the land, right?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure. We don't want to miss that very important piece of this. Okay, Lonnie, what would you like to add?
Such great, valuable information already shared. And so if you're not super tech savvy, that's okay. But one little tip that I've learned is that if you have Googled a bunch of things, like if you just go into Google search and you say, hey, what is there to do in Hawaii? What is there to do in Maui? What is there to do there? Where's the best hiking spot, best beaches? Guess what? Technology talks to each other. So when you jump on Facebook, after you've Googled a bunch of searches, guess what's going to start popping up in your Facebook feed, right? There's going to be a lot of things that you've already Googled is going to start searching, or it's going to start popping up on your Facebook feed. And so you're going to be surprised. They know that you're searching. They know that you're looking, right? So if you haven't noticed that yet, try it. Jump on your Google, ask Google, hey, what is there to do in Maui? What's the best hiking spots? Ask it a bunch of questions about Hawaii before you start moving or planning to move, because then it's going to start popping up. And then it'll be a lot easier for you to find those Facebook groups that will be in your niche, right? What you're looking for, what you're, what you'd like to navigate when you get here. Right. So that's my little tip for today. But Facebook has a lot of great groups to join. Kona Moms is one of them, which, I'm a graduated mom. I have adult children now. But while I was raising my children, it was such a great resource to have, because they go on there and support you. They would, if they had things to sell when their kids got bigger and you needed it, it was a great place just for moms to go to. And they keep you up to date. Those Kona moms, they know when baseball season starts. They know when football season starts, so you'll never miss out on getting your children into activities, which is a great spot. If you don't have children, you can always stay up to date. We do have it's called Big Island Thieves, and it's not only for theft related incidents or things like that, but it actually is a really good up to date, very current things are happening. As they're happening, they're getting posted on that Facebook page. And that's amazing how in real time you can know if we're on an island and if we have an accident, we only got one lane in, one lane out. And so if there's something that happens like that, you'll know about it right away. Weather alerts, if it's raining 50 miles away from you and you want to go to see Hilo, then you'll know it's raining. But such a great spot for you to know, even though it's Big Island Thieves. Don't let that name deter you from going there. And it's good to know, right? It's good to be in the know. And that's why we're here today to share those Facebook pages with you. So another one of my favorites, it's not so much a page, but it's a full marketplace where you can find goods. We talked about that earlier. Everybody likes a good deal, especially if you're relocating and you're living here in Hawaii and your container hasn't made it yet, and you just need a chair to sit on for the next couple of weeks or so. You go onto Facebook Marketplace, get a good deal. You have a chair to sit on for the next couple of weeks till your container gets here, and you'll be good to go.
So let me massage that one out for you a little bit, just on that point. Thank you again for all of that very powerful information, because everybody needs to get on these groups for sure. But regarding Marketplace, this is a question for everybody. How do you feel a person coming from the mainland, coming into a new area that they've never been to before, they're now putting themselves into a position of picking items up? What do you suggest if they're a little bit nervous picking them up in places they don't know, or meeting people they don't know, or putting themselves in positions they're unfamiliar with? Do you have any tips of how to communicate the pickup of those items, or where or how? Or even if they're legit, is there anything that you feel could be a scam? So that's the second part. First part, safety and security. What do you suggest? And then what do they also need to look out for?
Yeah, well, you hit it on the head earlier. We had a little conversation prior to, and if it sounds too good to be true, sometimes it's too good to be true, right? If you have an item that is normally $1,000 and it's like today only it's $5, and you're like, wow, that's a great deal. Is that really? And it's really tough, right? We're always living life with our guard up, right? Because there is a lot of things that happen in the world, but at the same time, there is a lot of good people in the world too. And so it really is trust your gut, right? And when you meet for safety reasons, you always want to meet in a public, well-lit, bright day, during the day. Walmart is always busy. There's always somebody around, right? There's never a dry parking lot. It's always busy. So pick a spot where there's a lot of people, right? That it's a well-known place, well-lit place, and you just let them know. There's ever any kind of pushback, and they're like, nope, I want to meet here. And it's like, sometimes, is it worth it? I can find another chair, right? I can find another chair. So it really is trust your gut. But, here in Hawaii, majority of the time, if not, find someone that's, like Chelsea said too, hey, find someone local, maybe a neighbor, your neighbor, ask, hey, is that safe? Or can you help me with this? I'm still new here. I'm a little hesitant, and see if you can find someone to help you along.
Chelsea or Josie, do you have anything to add to that?
That is a good point that Lani pointed out, is ask your neighbor. Because, that's going to be your neighbor. You want to make friends with them. And that's how you can get a conversation started. Like, hey, I just moved here. Can you help me vet these people?
Or have them even come with you, like the buddy system, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a good suggestion with that too. When I first moved here, I was by myself, and I took the whole thing into my head of like, in Hawaii, it is about just appreciation. And so I had a specific neighbor who helped me with that. I walked over and it's like, hey, is this good? Is this safe or whatever? And I noticed they had chickens. And so they helped me quite a bit. And so I just eventually got them like a big bag of chicken feed. And that's something that I love about this island is like, yes, ask for help and then also show appreciation for
That's
that.
right.
It's valuable.
100%. Yeah, that is so big here. And I think that going back to your original statement, Chelsea, is really come with a sense of reverence. And when we say that this all is a land of aloha, it's not a catchy phrase. It's not a throwaway phrase. It's so deep, and it's a cultural lifestyle, and that aloha means something slightly different to everybody, but it has the overall cadence of be good, do good. That's the most microscopic way I could capsulize that in my words, and to live with honor and reverence. So yes, thank you so much, Josie, for saying that and reminding that when you give, you gain, and when you gain, you give. And that's the way that this beautiful islands, the island chain works. I do want to circle back to the fact of the groups and all the different groups. We know that Facebook is an incredible resource. We all agree that Facebook is one of the absolute places. But say, for instance, they want to have more of a social gathering. I'm new on island. I would like to have more social gatherings. Where would you suggest that they would go, or look for different forums that maybe aren't so Facebook forward? Do you have any other suggestions or any other groups that they might be able to connect to that would then allow them the opportunity to meet in social arenas?
I can't recall the exact name. I would have to look it up. But like a really good one is like Maui Toastmasters. Like if you want to go and like just meet people, or
and if you're a business, BNI on
Maui
that.
Calendar. Yeah, Maui Calendar. So you just type in Maui Calendar and you'll get all the events that are happening on Maui, and you can just go and show up and be present.
Good.
I'm sure all islands have their calendar. Big Island has a calendar of events as well. And so that's a great place to look. Like Chelsea said, and see.
Eventbrite that's the one that I was thinking about.
That's it.
Yep. Eventbrite, and all the things are there.
Yeah.
And then that includes the meetups and all of the different meetings. And then the like you said, the local calendars say when the classes are for free or a donation. And also the local calendars pull in the things like the local fruit or vegetable markets or farmers markets. And then all of that is all in the local calendar. And then the music that plays at every little kitschy bar that's everywhere, and you just want to go catch a free musician to de-stress from all the moving chaos, that's so important, is to have that. And we all know that there's amazing musicians on all of our islands. So yeah, so the Maui calendar, Eventbrite. And we also, did you mention once something about Group Me? Was that something you said, Chelsea?
Oh yeah, so actually that's more like when you're part of a specific group already. And then, like, for example, our hula halau for our keiki, they use that to get into, once you're part of the halau, then you'll be added to that Group Me group. And then you'll get all the information about when the next performance is, when the next practice is, what is the attire for that performance. But those are those kinds of apps that have those things. I think another one is Team Reach. So once you get involved in an actual organization or group, you can get added to their specific app or whatever that they're using to get information out to their members.
And for our viewers, could you be so kind to explain what a halau and the word keiki means?
Okay. Yes. So a halau is like a hula halau. So a hula school where you go and you learn how to dance. And
And then
Kiki, our children.
there you go. I love it. We just want to always make sure that people know the little beautiful words that we could teach them along the way so they can come along the journey with us, and then they're even more empowered when they land. They're like, I know what that means and I know how to say it. So those are the most important things. And I'm going to say, Josie, I'm really impressed with you. When you said that you were moving over here, you went into the history books and you spent time to learn the culture and to learn the history. My goodness, if everybody did that everywhere they went, that would be really ingraining in each person that sense of reverence that I was telling you about, that honor. And would you say that you've spent time as well with the learning the language, seeing that we were just speaking about that? So that way, when you're looking at all of these groups, you know what it means when you see the word poo-poos or what shishi is, and just different things. Did you spend time looking at the language as well?
And I still do. And my biggest piece of advice for that is go to YouTube and put in learning the Hawaiian language for children. Because you learn all the kids songs, learn all the words. And when I'm put on the spot, I'm horrible at remembering words, but like I'll just do it in the car and sing the songs. And it's the best way to do it, because it is the best piece of advice somebody gave me is when you look at the really long words, people get really unconscious. They're like, I don't know how to even start. Split it up into 3 letters, little groups of 3 letters, and then, really learn how to say the vowels and all that kind of stuff. And it's not that hard. It's just that it needs to be repetitious, just because you got to keep it in your head. And I will get a word right 9 times and then I'll say it wrong the 10th time. And it's what I love is I have enough people in my life now that will correct me. And and I love that. Like when you come here, I want to be corrected because I don't want to say the word wrong. But little kids, Hawaiian, YouTube.
Big tip. Okay, remember Hawaiian music, Hawaiian language for children on YouTube.
Yes. I have not graduated to adult versions yet, and I may never. It's okay.
That's another really big point, because not only is it empowering the person that's moving here, it's also giving the people that are here the view on you as a newcomer of, they're trying and they've done their homework. And that's really good. And one of the other things is in my world, we teach this aspect called mirroring. I caution you on this is if you come from the mainland and then you try to speak Pidgin right away, they're going to call you out on it. And Pidgin is it's a dialect. It's a style of speaking that is very like a loose, relaxed way of saying things. So if you just come here and you try speaking Pidgin right away, they might be like, but try your best and have fun. As long as you do everything with high integrity and genuine love and aloha, anything and everything is possible. And then that's another one on YouTube, because there's a lot of Pidgin on YouTube. So you might need to learn it just to understand what's going on around you. Okay, so some of the questions that were asked by the viewers previously are, do you think that my questions will be judged if I put it out on the Facebook groups? Where can I go to not be judged? Do you feel that there's a lot of judgment on their questions? And let's be real about this. This is a hard.
I think there's gonna be people that judge. It's out there. Mm-hmm. I think, for me, it really doesn't matter if they judge you or not. I think it's how you say things, right? And it's really tough because you're on Facebook and you cannot really get the gist of how someone's feeling or the intent behind a text message. Mm-hmm. So just be very mindful of how you come across when you're asking this. You can always start with hey, I'm new, so that they know that, hey, I don't know, mm-hmm. right? Or, hey, guys, I need some education. Please help me with this. And then ask the question so that they know where you're coming from, mm-hmm. and that you have good intentions. With those, I call them ugly comments, there's those people out there that just wait for it, mm-hmm. which is unfortunate, because we're here to help and we're here to guide, and we want you guys to have the education. It's just unfortunate you're going to get those, but just kind of look past that. And it's not what you say, it's how you say it, which again, it's hard to come across via text in a Facebook group. However, you can always just pre-warn them, hey, I'm new. I just need some education. I need some help here. Please
Mhm.
chime in, right? So that's my tip for that.
Do you have anything else to say on that, Josie or Chelsea?
I would just say I agree with Lonnie, and Lonnie's like a great example of that, because when I first met her, her patience and kindness, for somebody that's been born and raised here, I was like, oh, okay. I just, again, come at it with respect, and you'll find the person that'll help you. And she's right. Like, there's going to be the comments. You just got to kind of go by those and then get the answer that you're looking for and move on.
Yeah, I think so. If you just open from upfront, like, educate me, I'm new, or just look one of us up on Facebook.
That's right.
Yep.
Yes, we're here. We can help
We're
you.
here for you.
From a firsthand experience and also secondhand experience, because I'm a real estate agent and I have clients that come here and they have shared their concerns of how am I going to be received in the community that I'm purchasing the home. And I said, what are your concerns? And they say, well, because I'm not from here, will I be welcomed? And I think that this is true for anybody that's moving from one place to another, that has a strong, passionate, deeply ingrained heritage on, again, I keep saying that word, reverence. Like, Hawaii has a very powerful presence. So it's not just any old place, USA. It is Hawaii. There's reverence here again, and honor and respect. So when people are moving here, they want to know, am I going to be welcomed, possibly as an outsider? And as an agent, you and we all spoke about it. You come from integrity. You do what you can to be mindful of who you are, where you are, live with respect, but also let go of all of those negative comments. Now, I know I'm going to speak honestly about Maui. Maui has a very clear divided group where there is come and then don't come mentality. And you have to ask yourself, are you going to be okay coming here knowing that there's a group that's very powerful, that doesn't hurt you, doesn't do anything to damage you? It's just, that's their beliefs, that you're not welcome. And that's something that only you could do in your soul searching, I believe. So I just wanted to put that out there to say that, yes, we all know that pretty much anywhere you go, there's going to be divisiveness, but really truly here, because of the cultural and historic depths that are here, that causes that diversity. And just be mindful that it's not always all aloha and sunshine and rainbows and everybody holding hands and helping each other and giving cups of sugar. And you will have some adversity. So don't come with a Pollyanna mentality that everything is, but it's what you make of it, is what I would like to say. So if you bring joy, then joy is what you'll see. If you bring timid and concern, then you will see those things that cause you timidness and concern. So that's my little stance on the energetic pulse of that question of how do you fit in? Anybody else have anything to say about that? Is it true on the Big Island as well?
Sure it is.
Well,
yeah, most definitely. And because Hawaii is such a melting pot, we have people from all walks of life, right? What they have to understand is that do unto others as you want done unto you, right? So if you treat people a certain way, that's how you're going to get treated, right? So it's simple sandbox rules, right?
Simple sandbox rules. I like that. Thank you, Lonnie.
And everything else in that sandbox applies, right? Please, thank you, may I, you're welcome. That's aloha, right? When you come here. And so anywhere you go, you're gonna have that. But just know that you have to come to Hawaii with an open mind and with good intent.
Yes.
Right? With good intent. You can't come here to change the world, right? To change Hawaii. You have to come to just, we live here because we want to relax and enjoy the culture, the beauty, the food, the people. It's such a great place to be if you let it.
when you were saying that, I had this overwhelming feeling that it's a place to give to, not to take from.
Yes.
That's what I really felt when you were speaking. It's a place to be fed from and give to, but not to take from. Yeah, very powerful.
So, that reminds me of, so like when you move into your neighborhood, if your neighbors are, like close by, like on the Big Island, you've got acreage, so you might not see your neighbors. But if you move to Maui in a smaller community, what we do in Hawaii, and I didn't realize that until my last vacation that I went on, we brought macadamia nut chocolates to give to our tour guides, to give to our room cleaner, to give to our, whoever. And all of them were like so happy. And actually, two of them said, I know you're from Hawaii because Hawaii people always bring us gifts or snacks or something. And so what would be really cool is when you move to your neighborhood, wherever you moved from, share with your neighbors your culture and what you're from and, what you can bring to the community. So that would be, it's our way of sharing, is sharing gifts and sharing food.
Oh,
so
huge.
Share your food.
So you said bring it to the hui. What's the hui?
Hui is a group.
Okay, I'm just going to keep asking because that way everybody's learning. Chelsea, you're throwing these knowledge bombs out for everybody. We need to let everybody know what all of these incredible words are so they come empowered. So if they're part of the group,
that's so funny. I don't even realize I'm saying it.
That's perfect.
You're from here. This is easy for you. No, that's a really good point, is for everybody to come in and feel welcomed to share their heritage, their culture, their ways, and everybody grows from that. Like Lonnie, you said that Hawaii is a beautiful melting pot. And I find that that's true all across everywhere, and not to be afraid to share your culture. Right. And that's incredible. So when we look at people that are moving, obviously we know that we have professionals, we have families, we have, solos, we have newlyweds, we have people that have dreamed about this their whole entire life, and this is the last stop for them, and this is it. So like you said, Lonnie, not everybody is digitally inclined. We'll just put it that way. Where else would you say that if they're truly not the internet mavens that is a typical process, where would you say that once they land are other places that they could go, or other periodicals or whatever you would say that they could reach into or out to?
Sure. There's a lot of resources. The first thing that popped into my head is a coffee shop. Go to the local coffee shop. They've got bulletin boards. So people still do bulletin boards, not Facebook. That's their Facebook in the coffee shop, right? So people will post things, events, needs and wants. They'll post that on the bulletin board, and then you get your cup of coffee, you sit down, you strike a conversation with the person next to you, right? And you just kind of dig up, hey, what's going on in the neighborhood? What am I missing out on? What should I be a part of? And just have a great conversation with someone there, because you never know what anyone is going through. They might need the same advice. You never know, right? And you might find a friend that you get to travel around Hawaii with, and explore. The second thing, is just if you're, you get here and you just go to the local barbershop or the salon, if you get your nails done, and you just, kind of poke around and just ask. A lot of it is just the power of asking, right? So if you don't have social media, Facebook, Instagram, whatever the case is, it's okay, right? So then you have to just rely on the power of conversation, and just
I'm so nervous to talk to people. I get so nervous. I want to
talk to people. And that's the thing, the first thing that'll strike up the conversation, smile at somebody.
I was just going to tell you that. That's so great, Lonnie. Good job.
Smile at them. They might think, what, do I owe you money? But no, I just want to talk to you. I just want to have a conversation. I want to know what's the haps, right, in town. So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid.
That is so funny. Do I owe you money? Hi.
That's the best.
Oh my goodness. Okay, because I know this is very important, is we have people that are coming here that are renters, that are buyers. They're moving here for long term. They're moving here for a short term business opportunity. There's different reasons that people come to the Hawaiian Islands. So first off, I just want to kind of focus in on the renters that are coming here for either long term, because this is where they are, or for short term, regardless. Maui. Let's start with Chelsea. Chelsea, let's start with Maui. And if you could give some advice to the people that are coming in that are looking for safe places to look for real rentals, where would you suggest that they go and how to go about looking for that? And on the next piece of that is, what's the current Maui market in that area? How do you feel that the rental costs and the ease of opportunity for getting into a rental are? And then I'll go to you ladies. Okay.
Okay. So, I mean, of course, if you have Facebook, you can go on, there's Maui Housing, Maui Rentals. But if you really want to be sure you're not going to get scammed, that's what we have professionals for. And go to your, go look up property management on Maui. There's Maui Property Management. There's Emerald Property Management. There's all kinds of different professionals that will not scam you, and they'll get you in a nice place, you know, for the market rate. So, you know, if you go on Facebook, you might get a rate that's super outrageous. But if you're going to a professional, they'll give you the market rate rents.
Mm-hmm. And so you're saying that if they look on Marketplace, that they could find something, but again, that may or may not be either legitimate, or it could be over the market rates, because it's an individual that may not know what the current market value is of rent. Now, let's dig in on that. Have you seen the current market value of rents go up or down based on this new shift in the market? Do you have a pulse on that at all?
So I actually have a friend that she was living with me for a while because the rents were just kind of crazy here on Maui, and the housing, the inventory was really low. And that, you know, all stemmed from what happened a couple of years ago, and the housing, you know, housing was just so needed. And now that a lot of those residents have moved back to their homes, I think now we're down to 40% still not in permanent housing.
Oh.
So, you know, now that shift has changed, a lot of the rentals have opened up and kind of slowed down the rent hikes, because it was, you know, what do you call that? Supply and demand.
I was just going to say major supply and demand on that one. Crazy.
So yeah, so she actually just signed the lease, and she's found her own rental. So
yay! And it's at a lower cost than it was last.
A cost that she could definitely
6 months ago. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So just for you that are hearing this, if you're looking to move to Maui and you were worried about the rental costs, because I too have found, looking for one of my other clients, that the inventory is now opening up for the rental market, and there's more available, which means that it's allowing the price to come down a bit. So it's a little bit more manageable for you, and still be prepared to have your ducks in a row for your deposits and all of the hoops and loops that you have to go through. But that is a good thing that it's more availability for them to come here and see where they want to be in what area before they buy their forever home here on Maui with one of us fabulous people. Right?
Right.
All right. So how about you on the Big Island? You want to give us some insight about the rental market there and how that works for people that may be coming?
Yeah, I think Lonnie can definitely speak to like the history of like the prices and how they've changed. But I can say I noticed when I was looking that it does seem like on the Big Island since the last couple of years, a lot more people moving here from other islands even, and they've kind of steadily gone up a little bit. And I think the two things that the advice I would give is, one, definitely use like a property management company. It's a little more tedious. It's, you know, you got to pay usually to fill out an application, but especially if you're far away, it just adds a little bit of protection there. And then the other thing is, depending on who you are, like just understand what an unpermitted home is versus a permitted home before you look for a rental, because an unpermitted home might be somebody built their own little cute shed and it's got solar or a generator and a compost toilet. That's one way of living. And then you've got the permitted homes that are like connected to overhead power and make you feel like you live in the mainland kind of thing. So depends on what your comfort level is to what you may be looking for. But we might have already said this. If we just need to keep saying it. If it seems too good to be true, it probably is, especially if the price is really low.
Mm-hmm.
You made a great point about knowing the different styles of living, especially on the Big Island, because Big Island even is a comparison to Maui. We have things that are called catchment. You have catchment. And catchment is a different concept for a lot of people that are on the mainland because they're used to the county taking care of all the sewer and the water. So being on an island, it's a little different. So you have to know what that means and what you're looking for. And then also being on grid and off grid. So are things being run by solar? Are they being run by the county or is it private? And, these are the little differences of the deeper you go into the jungles of our islands, then, you have a different feel from what, like you said, from the typical mainland feel.
Yep.
And then looking at the costs that are variant depending on that. So Lonnie, did you have anything you want to add to that?
Really it's just edifying that Josie's right on point. She's got the right idea as far as having that safety net, that peace of mind when you go with a property management company versus someone on Facebook, or not to say that they're all scams, but it's a tough market out there when you're trying to promote your own rental property. You have to get at least something to cover your mortgage. Yeah. And then you try to make a little on the back end, so you have to take in consideration on the flip side as a renter. That's basically what you're doing when you're renting, right? You're paying someone else's mortgage. And a little on the back end so they can make some money. But at the same time, if that's that's where you need to be at the time. If you need to rent for a little bit before you can get your ducks in order, like Kara said, then so be it. But go the best route and go with a property management company so that they can do all the vetting for you. They've already done that with their, renter, the person leasing the place, right? They've done all that vetting for them, and then they'll vet you as well. Make sure that you can pay your rent and have your deposits and all the things, right? But yeah, the different living styles, night and day, right? Night and day. But there's a lot of things that we can educate you on to ease that, and make sure that you guys understand, like living on catchment, it's you turn the faucet on, the water comes out, just like county, right? And so there's just the back end maintenance of. And hey, if your tank goes low, that's your responsibility, not the county's. And so there's some similarities to it, but then definitely some differences. So get with one of us and we will educate you all in that. So
beautiful. All right, good. Well, that's about the rental. Obviously, there's a whole wide scope of different people that are coming that may be able to fit into that property management side, and some may not. They may be, looking for rooms for rent. They may be just looking for an ohana, just a short time carryover in between. So there's a plethora of different opportunities, but again, social media is huge for following that. And then of course there's always Zillow rentals and things that are of the larger capacity that everybody sees, but talking to a local that knows, oh, hey, guess what? My auntie has a cottage that just opened up and you would be a perfect fit because I met you at that coffee shop and we talk story. Talk story means we connect, right? And talk it up for a minute. And now I have you connecting to my auntie who has the cottage that just opened up, or the ohana. That's the thing that's priceless about moving to Maui, is having, or not Maui, but to the whole Hawaiian Islands, is having that connection to relationships. I can't give you enough insight that relationships are everything here. Build relationships and you will have a beautiful existence here. If you stay in a silo, things may be a little bit harder for you because people here want to serve and help and receive and flow. It's the giving and that interaction that really makes a difference, because they will remember you and they will call you when Auntie has an opening and you'll be like, oh, they remembered me? Yes. So connect with people, reach out. Okay. So how about now that we're moving into, we've touched the renters that are coming here. Now, each island obviously has their different demographics. We have Big Island that is geographically ginormous comparative to our other islands. And it has two major hubs, right? Kona and Hilo. And in those hubs, it has different feels for each of those areas. Then we have Maui, which has multiple different areas on the island, up country near the Haleakala, in the valley, Pukalani, Makawao, down even further into the valley, Kahului, Wailuku, and then we have the north, which is all the Lahaina side, and then way back in the backity back on the booty of Miss Maui is Hana. And then we have Oahu, which is city all over the place in Waikiki. And then on the flip side of the city is North Shore, like Chill Haven. And then the beautiful island of Kauai, which is all sleepy town, gorgeous green, a balance of peaceful relaxation, no big city life going on over there, no crazy mayhem of the Waikiki skyscrapers. And if we look at all of the variety of places that people can go, what would you suggest they do to find out which island is best for them? If they're looking to just, I've always dreamed about coming to Hawaii and I don't know where to go, what would you suggest?
I would suggest that they experience it all before coming here. Like, I mean, look at Stitch. He needed the city life. He ended up on Kauai and then he left Kauai.
Stitch, you gotta know Stitch from Lilo and Stitch, the little beautiful alien monster in our kids' cartoons. Yeah, even Stitch knows what he wants. Mm-hmm. Very well said. So if can. So if you can, go try it all. Try on all of the different places. But if not can, then Google the heck out of everything and watch every YouTube video you can and see which you feel kind of feels right for you, right? Mm-hmm. Now let's talk about real estate. Do you have something else that you wanted to say, Lonnie, on that?
I was just gonna touch on that real quick and just remind people that when you come for vacation versus living here, it's night and day. So you really have to. You can't really island hop. I'll stay here for 2 days and then I'll go there for 2 days and then do the tourist thing. Because that's not what life here is, right? So you didn't factor in traffic, you didn't factor in school time versus summertime, you didn't factor in a lot of those factors, right? Mm-hmm. You didn't have those in your vacation plans. So just keep in mind that coming to see the islands is one thing, right? But really experiencing each island longer than a couple of days, it's a different story. So just make sure you're mindful of that. So do a lot of homework beforehand. Spend a little bit more time in certain places if you can narrow down where you'd like to. If you want to be in the city, focus on Kona, Hilo, right, Kahului, those types of deals. If you want to be more secluded, check us out down south. See what it's like, because it's a totally different vibe to live down south versus in Kona. So just do a little bit more homework. Don't rush it. Don't take a vacation and just think, yep, Hawaii is where I want to be. And it's not vacation all the time. So just keep that in mind.
I know the other thing is employment.
Yeah, I was just going to go to that about jobs. You're right. What about that?
If you're living here, where are you going to work? Because not a lot of, if you're living in Big Island and living down south and you find a job up, North Kona, you better think about that, right? So, and then if you think you can find a government or military job and you want to live on the Big Island, you might want to think, maybe if you like that country style, you might want to think about Kaneohe side on Oahu, because Oahu has, the military bases and all that kinds of employment. So
yeah, and I was going to say too, even if you work remotely, A lot of people just assume there's internet service everywhere, and there is, but the level of it, you need to figure that out depending on what your job is.
Huge importance. Thank you for bringing that up. That is a huge piece of gifted information because we are, I know you say we're an island out in the middle of the ocean. Guess what? We are an island out in the middle of the ocean. So it is an issue with cell phone service in your own home sometimes, and the internet, it's definitely an issue. So 100% a critical piece for the people that stay at home. That's great. And now I think we just, on Maui at least, we're able to go up to 600 whatever their little
gigabytes or whatever.
Whatever it is, we're able to go up to 600 speed, where before it used to be 200 was the fastest. So, explore those options. That's a great tip. Thank you so much about that, Josie.
Plus, and side note, when everybody is off work in the evening and they're all on the internet, that's the worst time to do work because it slows down. So got to plan your day around it.
And I'll never forget when, I won't name the company's name, but a certain cell phone company that's very well known told me that seeing that we're closer to the ocean, and when the tide is high, it takes the cellular reception. And I'm like listening to this going, what? That it lowers the reception, and that when it's stormy, then it affects the reception. And I'll, okay. So find out what's true or not, because I think she was just having fun pulling my leg. So that one is a scams do exist moment. I do want to speak about that now that we were talking about jobs. Before we go into the actual real estate, we talked about rentals. Now let's talk about jobs. Where do you think people would go? I mean, it's always ideal to come to Maui with a job in hand, but some people don't. They just land. Here I am. I'm on my friend's couch. I'm not moving. I'm not going anywhere. I love it. Where do I find a job? What do you suggest? Anybody? You can start, Chelsea.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, Facebook is a good place to start. You can just go on there and look up, jobs on Maui. And sometimes even in the Maui Mommies group or Maui garage sales, you can always just look up in there, and those are all local people, and just ask the question.
Do you find that there's placement companies here that take care of job placement?
So you can totally go to, there's employers, I think it's called like Employers Options. There's Aloha Employment. They're all temp agencies where they will find you work.
Good. Okay. Yep. And Josie and Lonnie, do you have any ideas of where to point them?
So we have those employment agencies as well in Kona. Ultra Staffing is one of them. If you're having a hard time finding a job for some reason, they have a little bit more insights on, they have a contract, right, with certain businesses that can get them employees. But if you drive around Kona right now, I mean, everyone's pretty much hiring. They're in need of workers, right? So even if it's just a stepping stone for you to get some income flowing, you can find a job around every corner almost. The other app that I like to use, or I like to look at, even though I have a job, I like to look at what's out there for when people ask me about that, is Indeed. And Indeed, they vet, they'll vet people that coming in and applying for jobs and things like that. And it's a lot more, it's a safer place for you to go and apply. They have same thing. It's a contract with those work employment places. So it's a lot easier for you to feel comfortable like applying for the job on Indeed. Sometimes Craigslist, for people that's not on that Indeed app, Craigslist has local insights too. But they also have some that are, to be wary about, just be cautious when you're looking. Again, we're going to circle back to it. If it sounds too good to be true, sometimes it is. So just be cautious.
Yeah. And I think even if you're like in a whatever kind of work you have, let's say you're a professional and you're an accountant, and you don't see anybody that's hiring, just go into accounting firms where you want to live, because oftentimes those services, those people are not taking new clients. Like they get really overwhelmed, lawyers and accountants and things like that. And you can, if you've got the gumption, you can just be like, hey, what if I get licensed? Can I start taking people on? You can kind of make your own job. But I do think that, look at where things are advertised. But if you've got like a real narrow focus, go into those businesses and see how you could maybe help them or integrate it. And the other thing is, don't be afraid of having more than one job when you're in that place. Like Lonnie said, it might be a stair step or a stepping stone into the work that you want, but that might be a couple jobs.
And a lot of people do have multiple jobs, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I want to touch on what you said, Josie. You had said that if you don't see the job you want, go in to the area that you want to be in and see if there's opportunities. And again, I'm going to go back on relationship building, that if you walk in well-spoken, prepared, and, communicating with a high level of genuine presence, that goes a very long way.
Sure.
And if you're humble and not aggressive, and, again, it's who you are and how you walk into every situation, those doors may open for you faster, because truly, more than any place I've ever seen, and I've gone all over the United States, this is very built on relationship for work. Even any high level, it's all based on how I feel with you instead of what I see on a resume. So don't be afraid if you don't have all the experience on a piece of paper. It's who you are and how you show up. So go for it. And I'm so excited to say that Maui is rebuilding on so many ways. I was down in Lahaina this past couple days, just going back and forth, and there's incredible amount of progress. I just get cheery every time I think about it. Cheery and teary. That's a new word altogether. Cheery. There's so much progression happening there. There's a lot of building, and I see the ability of Front Street coming back. Like, I'm hopeful, and it's so fast. I get the chicken skin. Like,
I got them too.
It's coming back so fast. And I'm in awe of these houses. Oh, there it goes. These houses that are coming back. So if you're looking for work, Maui's coming back. So there's work here to be had. And I'm very, very excited, because obviously there's a lot of people who had to leave, the workers, the chefs, the line people, everybody. So we're hopeful that it's all coming back. So I just want to say that. So yay, Maui. All right. So going back to the last piece here, we have obviously a lifestyle that's powerful for everybody. We were talking about, where do you want to live? What kind of a place are you looking for? Upcountry, city life, country life? We know that there's a lot of diversity absolutely everywhere on every island, but it's not just the neighborhood, it's the full lifestyle. Are you a hiker? You want trees, you love the ocean, which we have plenty kind. Where is it? Do you want beach or do you want rocks? Are you a fisherman? All of that. So you're looking at the lifestyle. So when you're looking at the home in the area that meets the lifestyle of choice, how do you find that people can really hone in on their location for a home? What do you suggest that they do if they're looking to purchase after they've identified their lifestyle, Chelsea? What do you think? And then we'll continue to round robin.
I think too, just looking at the neighborhood, because you could live in Wailuku and you can live in a housing neighborhood, you can live in a condo neighborhood, you can live in, and we're still close to the ocean. But like you said, what kind of ocean you want to live by? You want to live by a rocky beach ocean, you want to live by a sandy beach ocean, so there's just so many. Even if you choose a location that you want to live close to the beach, there's more
housing options
down into, and like if you don't mind a drive and you want a view, you can still live in Wailuku, and there's you can go further up in Wailuku and still have the view and still be close to the ocean. So it's, I don't know, is that a trick question?
No, that's beautiful. I'm asking, how do they how do they decide where they want to live? Then they have to go research it. So that's what
They
you're guiding
do.
them.
Yeah.
Because even a town in and of itself has its own nuances, is what you're saying. And
Right.
then there's different styles of living in that town. So no, you were spot on. That was so not a trick question. You were
It sounded like a trick
Absolutely
question.
perfect. Now, the only thing that I would add to that is, who do they need to contact to figure out information about how to purchase any of those places?
Yeah, you can contact any of us, and we'll connect you with the right person. It may
And
be,
then what do you see?
what
What do you say about the Maui market? What's the Maui market looking like as far as residential homes right now? If they were to come in, go ahead.
So right now, again, there's a lot of opportunities to buy. The inventory is there's more inventory coming on the market every day. So there's all kinds of different opportunities. Like I said, if you want to live in a cookie cutter town neighborhood, if you want to live in a custom home neighborhood, if you want a little bit more land and yard, if you want the view, if you want the ocean view, all of those things are in Wailuku, by the way.
Yes.
And you can there's a lot of inventory to choose from.
So right now, would you say it's a buyer's market on Maui?
I would, without like looking at, deep down into the data, I would still say that it is a buyer's market.
And that is the first time, and I have to agree with you. That's the first time that it has been a buyer's market in a very long time. So if you're looking to come to any of the islands, and you'll have to tell us if it's the same for Big Island, but it is very true for Maui at this moment. So I think we'll circle in to you guys to say, or you ladies, is how is it on the Big Island as far as the market, and how would you direct people for what they're looking for?
Yeah. Well, like Chelsea said, I think it felt like a trick question, really, because it really depends on what their goals are, because they have what their ideal lifestyle wants to look like. But then on the flip side, they have reality. The reality is, I'd love to live in down south, right? It's lush, it's green, it's beautiful. You got acreage, you can do, you're so secluded, but I need to be close to healthcare.
Yes.
And you're like, ooh, then that might not match if you need to be in close proximity to healthcare, right? Because it's a good distance from South Kona or Ka'u district to Kona Hospital or Hilo Hospital, right? To get the care if they need that care. So it's ideal lifestyle versus reality check. So they have to kind of put those together, prioritize what makes more sense for them, and then we'll try our best to find something that'll be at least a happy medium where you can get some of what your ideal living is and have that priorities, right, that you'll need. So it really is a trick question, Chelsea, right? Because ideally everybody probably would love to come to live in Hawaii and live close to the beach, walking distance, under X amount of dollars, right, within a budget. But realistically, like here in, let's say, Kona, right, there's very little inventory that is under $1 million. So you have to keep it in mind.
That's reality.
That's reality. So yes, you want to live close to Kona, close to the beaches, close to all the amenities, but my budget doesn't allow me to be there. Does your budget allow you to be a little further south? Sure. Is it going to be a temporary thing to get you to Kona? Sure. Right. So there's so much conversation to be had when you decide to make the move here to Hawaii, so that we can find you the best location, within your means, within your budget, with checking off your priority list from top to bottom. So usually the ideal locations or the ideal living style is not the top of the priority, because there's some other things that's possibly superseding those, right? Yeah. So we'll deep dive into it when it's time for you to move over to Hawaii. So like Chelsea said, you can reach out to any one of us and we'd be more than happy to educate you on that. So.
When you said that there's those certain priorities, and then there's the budget that may or may not be in place at that time. One of the things that I was thinking about with the fact that we are seeing so many price reductions is that we want to also encourage people that if they are looking and they're doing the searches with the little hearts or the stars or putting them in I want to watch that area, is to definitely set your alerts, because we see price reductions so often that you may think that that place and that perfect marriage of budget and desire aren't talking to each other. But then you set that alert to when there's a price adjustment, and bam, that's something that comes up right away, and you might be able to have that connection. And that's
Absolutely.
another reason for working with an agent, is they get you on an opportunity to have that connection right away. Or you could do it yourself. Either way, just don't forget the alert, because there's so much changing so fast. Josie, you wanted to say something? Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say everything Lonnie said, ditto. Everything Chelsea said, ditto. Everything you said, ditto. Also,
right.
you know, when you've got a family, you all might have different priorities. And like what Lonnie said, you know, you might want to be in Kona. You might want to be there for the schools, depending on how old your kids are. And that's that whole thing of getting in with Kona moms and just asking. Like my biggest thing is I tell people, be curious, because you're going to have to be curious the whole time you live here. And the second thing is be patient. Because again, you've got island time. We don't move as fast. We don't need to move as fast, and we don't want to move as fast.
Right.
And yet, so there might be houses, you're right, that have price adjustments, and you're like, but if you've done your research and you're prepared, and we can all direct you to the people to get you prepared, whether it's lending or all these other things that we've talked about. If you've got that all prepared, then when the perfect thing happens, you can jump on it.
Yes.
And so have the patience, be set up, be curious, and we'll help you leap.
I love that. Be curious. That is so true on so many levels. And you did say one thing about be prepared. And I know that we're coming to the end of our hour. We may be a little bit over, but I do want to ask you on a rapid fire, if I may, to tighten this all up, about preparation. We've talked about doing all of your preparation prior to moving here, as all your research that you can find. There's one thing that we haven't talked about that is very important as far as our islands being different than the mainland. What do you think they need to do in order to prepare for hazardous weather? We have different variety of weather. We have where would you suggest that they go to be on alert for any hazardous awareness, or what they need to connect with the county to know, so they know, because they don't know our weather patterns yet. So how could we give them that education and preparedness for what might be coming? Chelsea?
Yes. So for Maui, we have MEMA alerts. That's the Maui Emergency Management Alert System. And you can you can go to the Maui County website and look up MEMA. And
Perfect.
there you'll get emergency alerts about weather warnings, and any other kinds of evacuation notices, if there are boiling water orders, like all kinds of things that you need to know, just like if there's a fire or anything like that. So you go there, go sign up for MEMA alerts. They'll send you a text message or email. There's even an app that you can download that'll give you all the updates. So
yeah. We highly recommend that. I live by that, actually, because it's good to know for road closures as well. Again, I think, Lonnie, you said it. There's one road in, one road out. We have the same thing, one road in, one road out. And we need to know when there's a road closure, because that literally stops momentum. And when you're on one side that has the airport and the other side doesn't, you need to know where things are, or one side that has the hospital and you're on the other side and the road's closed. What do you do?
Right.
It's really being prepared for that next level. It's not where every corner has a Starbucks and a hospital and 10 churches. It's, you have to prepare. So I love the fact, Josie, that you brought that word preparedness into the conversation at the end to wrap up, because I think that in the beginning and while you're here, is having that high level of preparedness is important. Do you have anything else to add to that, my dear?
Yeah, I was just going to say, Hawaii County does have an alert system you can get for your phone, and you get texts. And here's my story about that, because I moved here from a coastal town. I was used to tsunamis, so you run up the hill, and I was used to earthquakes, which is like just take cover. So when I got here the day that the last time Mauna Loa had a flow, and I ran up to the Ace Hardware and I was like, okay, I don't know what to do. And they like, you're not supposed to run up. Do I run down? And it was so great because somebody that I know really well now was just like, you just run away from the, like, just don't run
Here
towards
comes
it.
the lava. Run away. That is the best tip ever. Lava, go the other way.
Yep. And I was concerned and I thought, oh yeah, we both think run up. Nope. So just know.
Yeah, that is not no sacrificial Josie on that moment. No Joe in the volcano moment. Josie in the volcano moment. No, not happening. That's an very old movie reference for anybody who doesn't know what I was just referencing. Look it up. It's hysterical. It's a great comedy. All right. So really quickly, let's just wrap it up. Chelsea, do you have any last minute groups or ideas that you want to share or impart with anybody that may be moving here that we haven't hit that you just want to give a nice little wrap up to?
So I just wanted to touch up again, like how you said, relationships is a key, and nothing is more powerful than coconut wireless.
Hey, so
Explain.
So coconut wireless is, like I think Lani had mentioned, and I think Kara touched on that too, is like you meet somebody at the coffee shop and they're gonna go ask their auntie or uncle or sister or brother or cousin, and then it comes back around to you. Oh, I found you your rental. Oh, I found you your job. And that's coconut wireless. Or, that's the good way. Or it's gonna be like, oh my gosh, guess who I met at this new person at the coffee shop? And it goes down that same auntie, uncle, brother, sister, cousin line.
Mm-hmm. So watch what you do.
To apply for the job that you want, that auntie, uncle, brother, sister, cousin is that person that you're gonna connect with. So it goes always.
It is so true. And it's amazing to see how many times you're like, it's just a small world. And you're like, it is a small world. Like, really, we're on an island. So be watchful of what you do. Okay, very well said, Chelsea. Thank you so much. Lonnie, go ahead and give us your last little pro tips.
So my last minute pro tips, what we did not touch base on, we touched on Facebook and social media, coconut wireless, going to the coffee shop. One last place that you can tune in is Living in Hawaii. Because we are going to give you the gist on everything you need to know about living in Hawaii. So if you tuned into our channel, congratulations, because resources, and we can give you all this valuable information. So keep tuning in, keep watching, stay tuned.
Well said. I don't even know what else to say on that one. She nailed it.
Nothing.
Josie, do you have
Just
anything
boom.
else to say?
Boom.
That is the outro. So thank you so much, ladies, for being part of today and for giving such added value in your time and your loving presence to all of the wonderful people that are listening to the show. We absolutely thank you so much for listening and for coming to Living in Hawaii for your choice of information for coming to the Hawaiian Islands. We hope to serve you well, and we hope to see you again. Aloha.
Aloha.